It's time! Hi everyone, my name is Holly and welcome back to Medieval-A-Thon. I am so excited to be hosting yet another round of Medieval-A-Thon. Or welcome if this is your very first time. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, Medieval-A-Thon is a readathon that I created last summer. It's like my literal baby. It is completely medieval themed, obviously, and it begins on May 1st and it lasts the whole month. So Medieval-A-Thon is all about increasing your nobility and also assembling armor/clothing, sneak peek, weapons, and something new that I decided to include this time, the more books you read. Be sure to follow Medieval-A-Thon on Twitter if you haven't yet, or if you don't have Twitter, be sure to follow my Instagram page because I will be posting all of the important bits in my stories. Last year, I did a whole storyline for your character where you saved your kingdom from the plague, and that just doesn't age well anymore. So I will be doing sprints again, but they will be totally different. I'm actually really excited about them, and I hope that I make them fun for you. And they will still be focusing on developing your character, and I keep saying your character because last year, a lot of you actually drew out your character on like journals and planners, and you guys are just so creative. Be sure to use the hashtag Medieval-A-Thon on social media if you decide to post anything, because I will be going through there looking at all your stuff and seeing how your progress is doing. So really quick before we move on to the charts and the slides and the prompts I know you guys are really excited about, I'm going to answer two really common questions that I know I'll get. Number one is that you cannot double up on prompts. I'm so sorry, I was lenient about that last time, but I just feel like it kind of takes the fun out of it because you're not supposed to get everything. The whole point is to choose what you want, and I know that there's going to be a book out there that allows you to get like 8 prompts, and that just takes the fun out of it. Also, really quickly, you can pick as many prompts as you want or not do any prompts at all. It's really all up to you. Number two is that this is not a fantasy readathon, it's just medieval themed, so you do not have to read only fantasy. You can read whatever genre you want. Alrighty, so now let's move on to the fun stuff. The first chart is definitely the most important, and that is your nobility rankings. This will determine what class you will be by the end of May, and I made sure to make it doable for people who don't or can't read as much, so this might be incredibly easy for you, or you might find it a challenge. If you participated last year, then you can see there's a couple extra ranks and some are very different. So if you read 0 books, you are a prisoner in a dark and cold dungeon, so you better read a book quickly or it's off with your head. Read 1 book and be a lowly peasant working in the field. There is nothing wrong with only reading 1 book, by the way. 2 books and become a squire who is trying to become a knight. Read 3 books and become the knight fighting for glory for the city. 4 books and become a noble enjoying city life. Read 5 books and you are a prince/princess who needs no saving. Maybe you have secret magical powers, maybe you're the chosen one, who knows? Read 6 books and become a king/queen. And finally, the brand new rank, read 7 books for the month and be at the top of the food chain and be an emperor/empress. By the way, please do not be afraid to change those last 3 rankings with non-binary options, because you can be a monarch, a majesty, or a royal. So those are all the rankings that you can strive for throughout the month of May. I will be posting all of these slides on my social media, by the way, so be sure to go there, save them, and checkmark them off every time you read a book and share your progress. This next slide I'm a little nervous about because it is so different from last year's, and that is wardrobe. That's right, instead of individual armor pieces, we have full outfits, and I tried to have a lot of options, whether you want to wear a dress or trousers, maybe naked, it's all up to you. Starting on the left side, we have outfit 1. Read a book that has yellowed over time. So pretty self-explanatory. I have 2 books here. One is very white and the other one has definitely yellowed, which is acceptable. Outfit number 2, read a pristine book. A book that is in perfect condition. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a new, but it can't have any rips and tears, it can't be dented, and it cannot have the remainders mark, which is the black dot that a lot of used bookstores do on the spine. Outfit number 3, which is like this breastplate dress, read a shiny book. So this means the book has to have some type of reflective element on the cover. So for instance, the font, which is very shiny, or maybe like the crown, or any type of object on the book that is shiny. Actually, this whole book is shiny, so that would count. Outfit number 4, a book with your favorite color on the spine. My favorite color is red, so I would pick The Wolf and the Whale. I've already read this, but you probably haven't, and you should read this too. Outfit 5, a book under 300 pages. This could even include manga or graphic novels. Outfit 6, a book with green on the dust jacket, and this means cover in general, so paperback counts. And finally, outfit number 7, read a book with a dragon on the cover. The outfit kind of reminds me of a dragon, so I think it fits well. And those are all of the outfits. I'm super nervous about this one. I hope it gets good feedback because it's totally different than last year's, but I know some people didn't care for the whole armor pieces, so I wanted to give you guys some variety and something different, so I hope it suits your fancy. Next slide is where we get to choose the weapons, my favorite parts. So I have mostly changed the prompts because last year I know you guys really struggled with them quite a bit. So for a sword, read something pointy on the cover. It can be anything pointy from a crown, a weapon, a thorn, a picket fence, maybe even a mountain in the distance that's sharp, but it can't be the font. It has to be an object or person. To get the pair of daggers, you need to either start or finish a duology. I really wanted to give you both options, so if there's a duology that you've been wanting to start or finish by reading the second book, you can. Next is the bow and arrow, and you have to read a romance. This one's ironic because I don't like romance in my books, but it was just too perfect because my first thought went to Cupid. Now this doesn't mean it has to be only romance genre. It can be a subgenre or just have a major romance in it, so you could read a grimdark fantasy with romance and that counts. To get the axe, you have to read a heavy book like this big papa right here. And finally, the new prompt is the shield, and you have to read a book you have high expectations for, and I'm talking like a 5-star prediction. Alrighty, so those are all of the weapon prompts. I really hope you guys like the new edition with the shield because having a sword without a shield just felt so wrong to me. Now let's move on to the final chart, which is totally new. I actually had you guys guess what do you think it was? And a lot of you got it right. Am I that predictable? And that is pet companions. A lot of you are guessing dragons, and as cool as that would be, this isn't a fantasy readathon, so these are common pets that you'd have in medieval times besides the fox. But we'll get to that in a minute. So the first pet is a chicken, and I would die for this chicken. Read a scary book. A book you're too chicken to read. Get it? And then we have a goat, and for this you have to read a book high on your bookshelf. So not this shelf or this one, but maybe like the top 2 bookshelves. If you're able to go to your local library, then the top books on their shelves, or if you don't have bookshelves, then the top book of your book stack. For the dog, you have to buddy read a book with a friend. I really like this prompt actually because you guys can search the comments down below for anyone else who wants this prompt. So if you want a dog companion, comment below and hopefully you can find someone else who does. For the cat, read a book title that begins with a C. I actually found this one a little challenging. Not many books begin with a C, I've realized. To get a horse, read a tall hardcover. A horse would be very convenient, so I might be going for that one myself. And finally, for the fox, which by the way, pet foxes were not common back in medieval times, but I was inspired by Kristen from Super Space Chick. I know she loves foxes, and I thought this would put a smile on her face, so I decided to include it. So if you want this sly fox, you have to read a book with orange on the cover. And that is it. This begins on May 1st, and I will be posting stuff on the Medieval Twitter page or my Instagram stories on day 1, so be sure to follow either one of those. Be sure to use the hashtag Medieval-A-Thon anytime you post something because I love going through that hashtag and seeing all of your guys' photos. And also if you do a Medieval-A-Thon TBR for YouTube, so if you're a booktuber, then be sure to tag me on the Medieval-A-Thon Twitter page or even Instagram because I will be creating a playlist like I did last year for my YouTube channel. If you have any questions at all, please ask them down below in the comments and I will do my best to answer because more than likely I have forgotten to mention something. I will be posting my own Medieval-A-Thon TBR, either my next video or the one after that. But yeah, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe. I upload videos every single week, and until we meet again, happy reading.